Good evening and welcome to BSRTC here from the Apex Racing TV. We are currently in Silverstone National and a little bit different for tonight here because our usual crew is at Germany. So my name is Samuel Kumo and I will be bringing you this first race, and if everything goes as planned, Sam Fitzpatrick will be joining us for the second and third race. And currently we are in the qualify. We got still a few minutes left remaining on this one with Dave Baker currently holding on to the pole position and Ash Sutton currently running second. But let's just quickly take a look over to the championship standings while we have time. So in the pro and overall standings we have Nico Foggy leading, Steven Baxter. Not a very huge margin there with Wojciech second, third, Dave Baker fourth, Pete Harrod 5th, Ross McFarlane 6th, Jamie Rashford 7th, Jack Chadwick 8th, Alex Simpson 9th, and Jack Blackhall 10th. And quickly looking over to the AM Championship, it's pretty close here as well with Rusty Later. That's about just over 100 points over Magic Sakovic. Chris Wood 3rd, Mark Woodhouse 4th, Michael Blake 5th, Dan Brown 6th, Paul Smith 7th, Adam McNally 8th, Adam Hatfield 9th, and Max Bright 10th. We still have few drivers here completing the qualify laps, as we see on the screen. That is Dave Baker, as he disappears behind the buildings, but let's see if we can get him on the screen. He is currently faster, but can he improve his lap time? That was not an improvement, just about 3 tenths slower than his current best. We have Ash Sutton on the lap on the track. No, he seems to be waiting. Let's see, Jamie Rashford. Jamie has already also completed his qualify. So who do we have? Joe Simmons. He's about halfway through. Currently on his outlap, but I don't think that's gonna be enough time to complete the qualifier, but we'll see. I believe that's Kip Stevens behind him. He should be able to record his lap, but now he's kind of badly held up by Joe Simmons and may not be able to improve, but I don't know what's going on with the cameras here, but let's see. Kip Stevens, does he improve? No, he's now only starting the qualifying lap. And Simmons, he seems to be also running the qualifying lap. These guys are the only 2 drivers we have on the track right now, so we are just waiting for them to get done with the qualifier. We do have only 25 seconds left in the session, so they really have to hurry if they want to make it to the start-finish line. They should just about have enough time. Stevens here in the front. Joe Simmons really cutting those curves there, and that is off track for Simmons, and his qualify lap is over. But Stevens still has time to do a little bit, put in the time. No, he doesn't. Time runs out just before he can complete the lap. And now we are ready to go to the grid. So that will be Dave Baker on the pole position. Alongside him is Ash Sutton. Third is Wojciech Svirec, fourth is Jamie Rashford, 5th Michael Hall, 6th Brian Holmes, 7th Joe Simmons, 8th Sven Glatzel, 9th Christian Rose, 10th Nicole Foggy, 11th Jack McIntyre, 12th Pete Harrod, 13th Jake Blackhall, 14th Kip Stevens, 15th Adam Hatfield, 16th Steve Baxter, 17th Ross McFarlane, 18th Diego Merro, 19th Stuart McFadden, 20th Colin Cuniff, 21st Pete Newman, 22nd Chris Wood, 23rd Russell Later, 24th Mark Woodhouse, 25th Alex Simpson, 26th Johnston. That seems to be the name is not displaying correctly. 27th, I believe that might be Dan Brown. And it Yes, Dan Bunn, 28th William Daniels, 29th Scott Malcolm, 30th Tristan Boris, 31st Michael Blake, 32nd Jordan Giddens, 33rd Carl Yacolet, 34th Adam McNally, 35th Max Wright, 36th Maciek Sakovic, and 37th Lee Deemer, 38th Nathan Davis, and 39th is Morgan Butler. Just about made it in time. We are currently waiting, and now everyone is on the grid. Lights are coming up. 5 lights. And here we go for the first race. Good start by Dave Baker. Oh, Ashton didn't get an amazing start here, and I believe that was Jamie Rosford who got slightly held up there on the start, as the camera doesn't show us anything useful here. Wojciech really trying to get the place back that he lost on the start. Don't go 3 wide there, it's only lap 1. Ooh, they are just about making through. Wojciech still hanging on the outside line, that is quarter panel territory there. Michael Hall just able to get a good run on the inside line there, but was not able to just get the second phase of the corner extra, and Wojciech trying there on the outside line. The 3rd place. Oh, and who's that? That is Brian Holmes just diving deep on the under the braking here. Little bit door banging there. That's Wayne Glasser on the outside, just losing a few positions there. Currently running down 2 positions from the start. Let's see, who do we have the big gainers here? Nicole Foggy, currently running 7th, has gained 7 positions. Oh, then that might be some trouble for him. I see him going off the track, and there he goes. Only loses 1 position, so no major issue at this point, really. You still have about 18 minutes remaining on the race. You should be able to get Adam Hatfield there in the mix of battles. Just lost a couple of positions, but he is still lost 1 position and going 3 wide into the corner here. Pete Harrod on the inside line was able to get much better braking on and secures the position, while Adam Hatfield just hangs back slightly. And who is that? That's Stuart McCarr. Oh, something has made up happen to Ashton. No, he was just having some issues with the connection. And let's see, towards the back of the field as well, we have Diego Mero and Ross McFarland fighting here. Mero on the inside with that pink Team Mad. Team Mad has a new sponsor this week. They are partnered with Fanatec, so you should be able to see this Fanatec logo on the front bonnet there. And he is really putting a show there for the new sponsors. But back to front. This lead battle is still going on, and I believe Dave Baker, he has really dropped back. He has lost the position both to Wojciech Spirovic and Jamie Rosford. As Jamie Rosford and Wojciech are going for it for the 1st place. And note to self, I need to fix this camera during the break. So here we go, turn 1. Still going side by side here. That is Jamie on the inside line. That is the optimal line here, and Wojciech runs a little bit too wide there. And Dave Baker possibly sees an opportunity here. No, just not enough space there. Has to be patient, hang back here. Well, that's not patience. That's a quarter panel. But I think that just cost him the run out of the corner, and now he's under pressure from his teammate Michael Hall. But good switch back by Dave Baker here. Unfortunately, it also places him on the outside for the final corner, and again Wojciech is able to just get the 2nd place back. As we are starting the 5th lap of this race, it's still not settling out at all. There's battles going on all over the place. Let's see if we can get some idea here on the track. Exactly, like the whole group is still just one big line on the map, and there's really... I think Jamie Rosworth might be the only driver who has some brilliant pace there. He's about 1 second ahead of Svidovic, mainly because these guys here just keep battling and maybe just losing some time there. Maybe if they would want to get the win, they should have possibly worked together at least slightly. But I think that kind of plan is hampered by the Apex Racing UK car of Wojciech there. I'm sure the Sequer guys here with Michael Hall, Dave Baker and Ash Sutton would like to at least get past Wojciech to kind of do some team effort there, teamwork, and move towards the front. And that is Nicole Foggy also joining in on the fun, going on the inside line on Joe Simmons on the turn 1, and Sven Glasel behind him, just looking for an opportunity there. And what has happened to Michael Fall? I see him dropping on my screen, and I believe that might be just a connection issue, because I do not see any major issues for him. Let's see, Michael Hall. Yes, that is a connection issue. He has lost the connection, and that's now only 3 CQR drivers on the top 4. So they are not going to be... Well, they are still... It's still possible for them to get the podium lockout, but they need to get past Wojciech first. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's happening further behind. There's a battle going on with Melro and Baxter. Again, Melro on the outside line this time. Just and oh, that's a contact. Baxter is able to save it and just hangs on to it, but Melro just able to secure the position for at least this corner. But Baxter gives him a little bit of friendly tap there and gets the position. Let's see what's happening behind. Well, we cannot look at it right now, but let's just follow this battle for a moment. Then we'll look back at further down the field. Let's see what's happening there. Oh, that is a much bigger tap. It seems like Baxter is really testing this new overtaking technique. First one wasn't forceful enough, so give a little bit bigger shot, and then you make the move. And now he's lining up Stuart McFadden there on the third one. But now it's on the outside line and in prime territory to get tapped, and Gibb Stevens is all over the place here. I think he might have also gotten small contact there. And behind them there's Pete Newman and Russell Lader. And Mark Johnson just lost a whole bunch of positions there. But seems to be no issues so far. Okay, and I have just got Jazz here on the commentary booth, so let me enable his mic and he can join in on the fun. Welcome, Jazz.
Hello, Samuli. How are we doing? You alright?
Yeah, doing good. Kind
stuff.
of unusual here, doing the solo commentary and the cameras at the same time, but well, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, I can imagine it's been a bit of a flustered one, so here we are then. I know we're partway through. Oh, Alex gets a big smack there in the side. One of the boosted cars doing that to him. I'm sure he's giving him enough room now as they go into the right-hander. This is an amazing track for these boys to be battling around, and from what I've seen already, it's a nice little argy-bargy fest, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think that's how it usually is. Well, it's on this track and also at the Brand Hats Indy. That's also one of these very short tracks where you have just constant battles, constant contact everywhere. And yeah. I mean, even if you have small contact here, there's plenty of runoff areas, so it's not the end of the world, really.
Yeah, it's not like as if they were racing around Monaco or anything. It's like one little slide line, you're in a wall. It's like I say, there's a lot of runoff areas, a lot of nice grass, and people have got a bit of... it's a bit of an easier car to save a slide with this. I mean, I know it's quite light over the rear end because it's obviously front-wheel drive, and they haven't got a massive amount of downforce, so one little quarter panel, which is very famous in the Kia, can go a long way. But as we're on board with Dan Brown now, he's just in front of him. He has the number 19 car of Russell Laidler, sorry, call him by his nickname too often. On the brakes they go into the right hander. You can see lovely little corrections by Dan as you go in onto the brakes there. You're actually turning left, but you're actually pointing the wheel right just to stabilise the car that little bit more. You want to minimise the wheel spin as you get off that corner and try and get the power down the straight. And these cars certainly do pull. I think they're about 375 brake horsepower, or maybe even a little bit more. But for a front-wheel drive turbo car, it is a hell of a lot of power to have.
Yeah, it's certainly maybe the most unique car you can have in iRacing. And let's say if you think you're fast with these cars just based on your pace in, let's say, 80 degrees, these are just a whole different beast.
Definitely, they really, really are. There's an absolutely wonderful art to applying the throttle properly in this car. It's a beast to tame, from as I know from my days in the club series and a few events in this series itself. It's great to see these guys so close, though. I mean, it's such a competitive car now. There's such a massive community behind it, all started by this series, and it's great to see that it's still thriving years later. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really close even in the champion standings. Like, we are in, this is I think 17th race of the season, and we are still so close with the championship standings that it's pretty much anybody's chance to win the title. And even the team championship is pretty close, despite maybe CQR having shown a fairly good dominance recently. Yeah.
It's really good that it actually reflects the British Touring Car Championship so well. I mean, such as tonight, obviously racing at Silverstone National, where the real-life BTCC will be this weekend. It's good to see that, just like the BTCC, every race is anyone's race. You can go into a race weekend and not know who's going to win. You could throw Matt Neal at the top of the order, you could throw Dan Camish at the top of the order, or even like Matt Simpson, for example. He put it on pole at Alton Park and won the race. If you would have said to me at the beginning of the season that Matt Simpson was going to win a race from pole, I would have said you're joking. But that's what this is like as well, as we look at Dave Baker and Wojciech Savidovic side by side down the straight. Dave making sure he uses all of the track. I'm sure Wojciech's going to bring him over to that left-hand side. He doesn't actually. He goes to the right, keeps on the racing line. They've got Ash Sutton praying there behind him that they have a coming together. As that's the number 3 car, George Simmons, going a little bit deep, nearly makes contact with Ash. These boys are really close quarters right now. A little bit of contact between Baker and Savidovic. Baker's on the brakes as Savidovic comes over and Sutton's down the inside. He's going to get the move done down the straight. Dave's giving him plenty of room. Always the courteous racer is Dave. He's always said that he's better at defending than attacking to me, but he's just quick all round. I consider him a bit of an alien. And speaking of aliens, we're on board with Nickel Foggy now. Nickel obviously made famous by his World GT Championship titles. That's a hell of a slide there. The AstroTurf catching him out a little bit. Brilliant save. And you can just see how close these boys race together. It's just one massive snake of cars, isn't it?
Yeah, Nickel Foggy has been doing pretty well in this race so far. That is +5 position for him. And even like in this top 10, the racing has been really clean so far, so I'm really impressed by this.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's a nice thing to have, because I know that previously in the past there's been, there's this many crashes in this race and there's this many crashes, but this is great stuff. I think shorter circuits really do suit these sort of closer fields. A bit of contact between Sutton and Savidovic there. They both do really well to keep out of that. Ash then files in. He's got number 9 Nickel Foggy behind him. Foggy doing a bit of a grass track en route there. And then down the inside goes Baker on Savidovic. Savidovic gives him the room. Baker washes out wide, and now Sutton's trying to get down the inside, and then Nickel Foggy's trying to bury his bonnet inside Ash's boot there.
Oh, that was almost contact between Sutton and Foggy there.
That was really good reactions there by Nickel to avoid that. Look how close they are side by side, as we've got the number 3 car now. George Simmons coming in on this as well. Ash has disappeared. I don't know whether that's connection
or...
what?
I think he might have gotten disqualification because it was just after he gave a small tap to Foggy there on the exit.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed too clean to be a disconnection, because sometimes they flap about a little bit before they go. As there's the number 113 car. Usually I know that as Ben Gregory, but it's Sven Glatzel. He's going to be taking advantage of Simmons and Foggy having a fight here.
Yeah, Sven is really easy to recognize because of the large German flag that he has on the roof.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly a way to make your mark, isn't it? It's just constant. There's just people side by side everywhere. You look all the time.
Sideways there.
Very, very sideways indeed. As now there's more boys getting in on this one. We've got, I believe that's Brian Holmes in there. I was just talking to Brian earlier today about the MX5 streams. and how much he was enjoying that. So nice one, Brian. Let's hope that he has a good race meeting. He's really trying to get stuck in here, but you don't want to go too quick as they're so close to quarter panel in there. Who's that? Jack McIntyre. Another one from the MX5 streams that have been doing. And these boys they just don't give up, do they? There's just no letting off anywhere.
No, it's a track where you can go side by side all over the place, and they just been going at it all through the first 15 laps. As the time is ticking out, and Jack McIntyre has small connection issues there, but
yeah,
he's able to recover.
Oh, he's having a little bit of a blink around there. We've seen that from Jack before, though. To be fair, I mean, he's had issues in MX5 races before, but seems to be stable enough for long. It's only a little blip, so it shouldn't cause too much of a massive issue, really. It's when they disappear for like 30 seconds that you start getting worried.
Yeah, especially like if you're in this kind of a group of cars. Oh, that is George Simmons.
Oh, and McIntyre's been clipped by Holmes. They did a really, really good job of keeping that thing on the road then. Fantastic stuff. Fair play to Brian. I think he obviously got out the throttle a little bit, and I imagine Jack was doing anything, but he must have been full throttle there, 45 degrees locked to the left. You've got the number 13 car, Pete Harrod, in there as well. These boys are all really going for it. Two Apex cars,
UK cars going side by side here.
George is not going to. He's not going to be letting Pete have this easy. Although Pete is on the inside, so he's probably going to have the favourite line to turn one. The other thing is at Cops there, you've got a really big run after it, and it can affect your run if obviously you're on a tighter line. But if you are too wide, then it affects both of you because you obviously can't take the optimal apex if you're the car on the outside. I mean, he's got a bit of a better run actually, Simmons. He's done a fair job of that actually. Pete's looking around to see what he can do next. But he's got to be careful of the guys behind him. He's got Blackhall, McFadden, Baxter and Melrose behind him. They're all names that I wouldn't want to be under pressure from, to be fair.
Yeah, all season veterans here in the BSRTC.
It's a frightening lineup of drivers that I know I wouldn't stand a chance against anyway. So it is, I suppose, it's a joy to watch so many quick guys all fighting on one track. It's a hell of a series, and it's always good fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah,
literally the three of them pushing each other there, sorry, just literally nose to tail there, giving it the full Kia centipede. It was just absolutely nose to tail all the way around the last Luffield corner there.
Yeah, and you could almost say that, I mean, this is not, of course, the McLaren F1 series, but I mean, the level of talent that they have here, it's amazing really, and they've been going at this for a few years now.
Yeah, I remember the days of like season 3 of the it was just called the BSRTC back then, not even the Pro Series or anything. I think it was actually on YouTube as the iRacing BTCC. They all used to have BTCC liveries, no number boards or anything, and it was Chris Cohen on the commentary, and that was about 2013 I think. So it's great that it is thriving so much. I mean, like you say, the level of talent's just, it's frightening. You look down the entry list and you think, nah, I'm alright. Well, I do anyway. I mean, some of these guys will be thinking, go on, let's go for it, but I wouldn't stand a chance with these. As we see Pete Harrod now, right on the back of George Simmons. He's going to give it another go. We saw this a lap ago. He's going to take those bollards out that don't seem to be affected. Simmons has got a really good run down there, actually. Let's see how they do on the brakes. Pete was a little bit hesitant there, you can tell. He's trying to line it up to get a smooth run, but the car bouncing around and wobbling around a lot. I mean, Pete...
So far we've seen the inside line work on the turn 1, because then it also gives you the inside line here for this back straight. But
yeah,
it just wasn't close enough to really dive in.
That's one of the most important parts of the track there, actually. Coming out of that corner and minimalising the wheel spin and getting the right amount of lock-on to get down this straight. It's so paramount on this layout. It's a great little layout because, I mean, really, in these cars, the straight doesn't actually affect it that much because they're that quick in a straight line that it doesn't give you enough time to get a proper slipstream. Unless you've really got a good run and outdone the guy in front of you, you're not going to make a massive amount of moves down there. It's usually into the corners and on the brakes you want to try and get the old man fruits out and see who's got the biggest.
Let's take a look at the front. Who here has the biggest? Seems Jamie Rashford is still holding on to the first place, but the gap has come down. It was about 1 second a while ago, so now it's on for the first place between Rashford, Swedish and Baker.
Yeah, these three all famous touring car drivers in my world. I mean, I've been watching these guys for years, and here we are again, the three of them, all on track together. Wojciech's always been up there. Rushworth, I believe, was season 4 or 5 champion. I'm not quite sure which one. You've got Dave Baker, who somehow isn't in 6th place, as he normally is, or as he often finds himself, but he's following car number 6, so he's probably sick of seeing it. He's just keeping it nice and reserved at the moment. You can see he took a wider line in the final corner there to try and get the optimal run, but these guys are so good on the throttle, and they're just perfectionists in this car by now that it doesn't really make a massive difference for him. But that's the challenge of the series, I suppose. You've got to find every thousandth of a second that you can. Tries to get it smoothly turned in for turn 1. Beautiful line by there by all three. Oh, just catches the AstroTurf though. It drags him out wide. You could literally just see the wheel change as soon as he clipped it then, couldn't you? Just pulled the car away from it. It's like there's a magnet on the outside fence.
Yeah, Baker definitely thought that he has the pace because he had the pole position for this first race, but it seems like maybe he's just having the small difficulties finding the lines now in the close traffic here.
Yeah, it can really change your viewpoint on the race as we see Savidovic go down the inside of Rushworth, both managing the turn-in of the car on the brakes. Dave's going to look down the inside, but the gap disappears. But yeah, as I was going to say, it can affect how you drive with having cars in front of you, because you've got to obviously accommodate for what they're going to do and try and find a line to get through. But it's actually, some people prefer following other cars, such, I mean, I do. It's one of my favourite things is I find that I'm quicker when I'm following people. But
yeah, as Jamie Rashford comes across the finish line and takes the win for the first race. Yes.
That snuck up on me, sorry. I apologise, I didn't realise then. There we go then.
It just went by so quickly.
Rushworth takes the win. Savidovic and Baker rounding out a great podium. Nickel Foggy gains 6 places to finish 4th. That's a really good result for him. Just looking down the order, see who's gained a lot of places. Dan Brown's up 8 places. There's some guys further back that have gained 9, obviously helped out by incidents. Stuart McFadden up 7 places to 12th. That's a really good race for him. And it's just I mean, I'm looking down this list. I've not commentated on these boys for a while, but like I keep saying, that's a scary list there. A couple of guys not finishing due to disconnections, disqualifications.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap gaps, and basically everyone finished within about 20 seconds of each other. And even the top 10 was within 6 seconds. So that tells you how close it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the top 15 was within 7.5 seconds, and that's ridiculous. That's like, you won't find that anywhere else in the world. I mean, these sort of races, to go on for that long and still have that close in terms of, I can't get my words out even, I'm just that amazed by it. Just to have everyone finishing that closely together after 20 minutes is just unreal. But that, again, that sort of favours these shorter circuits. They provide more laps, so you've got more opportunity to identify what the guy in front's going to do and how you can try and get past him, or where you've got a weakness, and it helps the racing a lot, I reckon.
Yeah, it maybe comes more down to the racecraft than just learning the optimal line and the ultimate pace on the track itself.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's just take a look at the final results here, with Jamie Rashford taking the win in this first race, Savidovic finishing 2nd, and Dave Baker 3rd for that was a good battle for the first place between these guys. Then slightly further behind, that is 2.4 seconds, but in this race that was a long gap, really. Nickel Foggy, that is Nickel Foggy 4th, Sven Glasser 5th, Christian Rose 6th, Jack McIntyre 7th, Brian Holmes 8th, George Simmons 9th, Peter Harrod 10th, Jake Blackhall 11th, 12th is Stuart McFadden, Diego Melro 13th, Steve Baxter 14th, Ross McFarlane 15th, Adam Hatfield 16th, Russell Lader 17th, Chris Wood 18th. As we go down, that is Dan Brown 19th, Keith Stevens 20th, Mark Johnston 21st, Mark Woodhouse 22nd, Max Simpson, a pretty good finish there. Well, okay finish. I think he's not racing on his rig. I believe he's already in Germany, finishing 23rd, Pete Newman 24th, Tristan Boris 25th, Mark Maxbright 26th, Patrick Zakaris 27th, Adam McNally 28th, Colin Grimes 29th, and 30th is Scott Malcolm, 31st Paul Cecolet, 32nd Jordan Giddens, 33rd Morgan Butler, 34th Lee Deemer, 35th Ash Sutton, 36th Michael Blake, and 37th Michael Hall, 38, Nathan Davis, and 39, William Daniels, 14 laps down.
And there we go. That was race 1 of the evening. Frantic one. Loads of contact, loads of argy-bargy, and loads of overtaking. That's what we want, isn't it? That's what we want for the rest of the night.
But we are not done with the fun yet. We still have the reverse split wheel to do for the second race.
Oh yes, we do indeed.
Yeah, so spinning it now. So we have whole selection of good options. What do we get? It is the largest possible. It is full -1.
Okay, so as far as I know,
yeah.
Is it anyone that's 1 lap down or less?
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay, so that would put Morgan Butler on pole position, alongside Jordan Giddings and Carl Jacquelette in 3rd.
Right, so while we get prepared for the second race, we'll just have a small break here, but don't go anywhere and tune in for the race 2 of this BSRTC at the Silverstone National.
And he will get his foot down any moment now as the pace car pulls in. Tony Kliesman waits to apply the throttle, and there he goes. It's not a brilliant launch for him, and Michael Abdoka's right on his tail. Can he get into the slipstreams? Just side by side between Foggy, but Kliesman hangs on to the inside. Abdoka not taking too many risks, and down the inside for Kliesman. It's a good start for him. Just holding on against Abdoka. Foggy into 3rd, Granton 4th, Jackson 5th, Lutzmore 6th.
And Daledon goes around at the chicane. He's bringing the car back onto the track, but he lost a lot of positions there. Too aggressive, as I said, inexperienced with his cars, and it showed here.
And Abdoka leads this race, and now Foggy's looking for any opportunity to get past. Brandon looking racy as well in 4th. Kliesman, he's not used to this, being overtaken on just the 2nd lap, but it seems to be that Abdoka has certainly the pace to win this race. Down the inside goes Kliesman. Abdoka not building up a lead, but Kliesman there trying to stay as close as possible. Trying to get the move down into the Casio triangle. Down the inside goes Lutzmore, and he can get that done, and here comes Ritchie. Down the inside, can he get it stopped? Just about, but he needs to get the cut back out. Brilliant try. Oh, and off the track goes Lutzmore. He got the move done. Ritchie might gain 2 positions here in a couple of corners. Ritchie into the slipstream. Gotta go to the inside. Not much defense from Jackson, and Ritchie will just go straight through here, and he goes up into 5th place. Brilliant debut drive for Ritchie out.
Sorry guys, I want to butt in very quickly. Michele Ritchie around, coming out of the Casio triangle. Issues for him.
Yeah, I was watching the live timing. I thought he was going in for a pit stop, or a very early pit stop, but you're right, he went around.
I think Kliesman might be about to lose a position here. Here comes Foggy. Kliesman's got to slow down. Don't go into the back of him, Brandon. Oh, that was so close. Klusman was desperate not to drop down to 4th. Foggy close, not looking for a move. Do you think that was maybe... Do you think he's quite happy? Do you think that's a sign? Because there was no kind of glance to the inside at all there. Oh, he's off the track.
No.
But he's held on. He's going to remain in 2nd place. Wow, that was so close. What's that? Oh, what do you think of that?
Commentator's curse.
Oh, and off.
Oh, another error.
Klusman. And Brandon now around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the final S. And Klusman started in 1st place. But on lap 10, he's fallen down to 4th.
And avoiding contact while the other car
Oh,
was
we got another
joining.
driver up. So, Rosie Borges has just gone off. McKnight, no. Wow, and now down the inside of both of them goes Michel Ricci. Down the inside goes Ricci. McKnight's going to try to hang it round the outside. Ricci hangs on 2 places in 1. We're seeing McKnight spend 10 laps behind Borges, not being able to make up 1 place. And Ricci has made up 2 places twice now in this event. Doesn't seem like anyone's going to pick this time round. And now
Klusman is in.
Oh,
well.
So Alex, you're opposite.
Miles off.
Evdoka's in, so Evdoka's in.
And of course, he wins this time.
Well, now we're really confused because I was hoping that for once Apex Racing TV would know what's going on with the strategy, but that's right in the middle. So he's left himself options, but now a 2-stop's going to be surely really difficult for him to achieve. A driver a little bit off the... oh, Foggy is in. Foggy's in. Is Brandon in? No, Brandon stays out. So surely that's got to be a 2-stop for Brandon. Is Foggy exiting the pits? Yes, he's miles ahead. Foggy is a long... Nicole Foggy with a much shorter pit stop. 9 seconds shorter.
And Johnny Brandon is in from the 1st position.
Latsmore in as well, and Jackson, so that seems to be the cut-off, no further than 19 laps on these tyres. Foggy will retake the lead. Brandon still stationary, clearly going on the same strategy as his teammate Michael Evdoka, but where will he be in relation to Evdoka? Evdoka passed, so Brandon still stationary. It's going to be a 35-second stop, 3 seconds slower than his teammate. Stephen Latimore gonna be... Ricci has jumped them both. So Ricci with that short stop has gone from 7th to 5th in that pit stop period. Building on your point you just said, how drivers aren't really taking advantage. Tony Klusman just made a big error. Oh, an error now for Ricci. Latimore down the inside. Ricci's not gonna have a chance. And that is that's much better than what Ricci did in the Casio Triangle when Klusman made a mistake, because Latimore has pounced on that, and that was a really good opportunistic move in the end. Whitaker's got to let past these two. This is not what Latimore needs whatsoever. But again, Ricci's not there to take advantage. Whitaker off the circuit, but lets them through eventually. And again, Ricci, he's not really there. What's the chances of there? Oh my goodness, Latimore, another slide. Here comes Ricci down the inside of Spoon. Can he make it? Yes, he can. No, he's got a big slide down the inside. Goes Latimore. He's going to have to drag the second part of Spoon, sorry. And here comes back Ricci. They're going to be side by side, going into 130R now, heading up the hill. And Ricci, doubt he's going to have a go down here.
Klusman is in. Yeah, Klusman is in for a pit stop.
Okay. Yeah, I really should just shut up now, shouldn't I? Because I've been wrong on every single count.
Number 66.
Oh, he's in.
He's in, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this is really spicing up now. I was a bit concerned that maybe they're all going to go for 2 stops, but there's a clear divide in the strategy. Foggy in on lap 30 of 56. So, of course...
And Evdoka is in.
Evdoka is in. Oh, wow. Okay.
By the way, and now he's the new leader.
Evdoka's ahead of Foggy. What a quick stop for Michael Evdoka. 7.7 seconds for Evdoka. What a pit stop. He is into the net lead.
And Latimore is around again. Oh no, he's safety.
Oh, he's going to lead up to Jackson, isn't he? Here comes Jackson. Is he going to get a slowdown, Latimore? And Latimore does pit this time, so he won't have to serve the slowdown. That's the smart thing to do. Yeah, classic error in this car. We've seen it a few times today. Just the wheel spin is so difficult to control. really do respect these drivers out here for doing, you know, 56 laps in such powerful cars. Just a little bit of a reference, Foggy is 25 seconds behind, and they both have a stop to go. Brandon's stop is going to be significantly longer, however, but Foggy is closing in at 2 seconds a lap currently, and is now only 3 seconds behind Michael Evdotka. So, I think Brandon's
Here it
in.
comes.
Brandon's in.
He's in.
So, this is going to be kind of where we get a decent reference and the target for Foggy, because he's going to undoubtedly be a long way behind, but it's how far behind it is going to be the important question. And Jackson in it as well, yeah. So Evdotka will lead. No, Evdotka's in! Oh my goodness. So Evdotka had that super short second stint. You know what? I don't think that's worked for him, has it? Surely not, because he's going to have the same length of pit stop as Brandon. And, yeah, just lots more going past. And Chris Jackson going past as well. Michael Evdotka, Jim McKnight going past. And Jose Borges just going through 130 up. And Kliesman, 25 seconds now stationary, and away he goes. So decent stop for Kliesman. And I think he might just stick in that 7th place to the end of the race now. He's still stationary. Brandon is coming across the line now. Foggy still stationary. Still taking fuel seemingly. Brandon's going to take the lead. Through goes Johnny Brandon into the lead of the race. Nicole Foggy now gets away.
Definitely tyres, guys. Second
Definitely tyres.
sector,
Okay, thanks for that.
optimal straight away. Sector 2, optimal. So he's quick.
This is on, so 8 seconds to catch, and he has got, this is lap 49 of 56. This is proper intense now. He doesn't, and he go to the inside here. Big slide for Jackson. Jackson's slow, going to be slow on the exit. Here comes Evdotka. Needs to get the run. This is crucial. Championship point to get such a big slide, does Michael Evdotka. But he's still in the slipstream, right behind Chris Jackson. They're not going to clear the 71 car in time. Defensive from Jackson Brown. The outside goes Evdotka. He needs this all the way around the outside through the first part. Through the second part. He can get the inside for the third part. He's nearly lost it. Oh my goodness me. I thought that was curtains for the pair of them. Evdotka, I thought he'd made it, but clearly those marbles just affecting him too much.
He maybe doesn't know that Johnny Brandon is on worse tires than Foggy, so he doesn't know that there will. Oh, we got an attack on the outside. That was very risky.
Go for it. He's got the inside maybe for the final corner. Here he goes. He's got to go for it. Brandon down the inside. Can't make it.
Long story short, he wants to make the pass. He wants to get the point. Because we don't know if Foggy will be able to pass Brandon, in all seriousness. And he tries again on the outside.
Oh,
big
contact.
touch.
Oh,
That's a big
my
crash.
goodness. Wow. That was as close as... Oh, and he's got damage. I think that's Jackson with steering damage maybe. Brandon got decent traction from the hairpin. And Foggy, he's struggling to get any closer. He's 4 tenths behind. This is about the same gap as last time. He should have the run through spoon. This is where he was so quick at the start of the race. And now he's lining it up. He's got to absolutely nail this traction zone here. He's close, he's close. He's nailed the traction. And now here comes Foggy in the slipstream. Any chance into 130R. Warming him, the car, Woodward gets out of the way. Foggy so close. Brandon, surely he's got to defend into the Cascade Triangle. Brandon defends, to the outside goes Foggy. Can he go round the outside here? He tries it. He can't make it. Can he get the traction on the exit? It's going to be Johnny Brandon, surely, to take the race victory. His 6th of the season, and Brandon gets it. What a race. Foggy in 2nd place. Wow, Marco, that really was the finish we all wanted.
2 hours of racing, and we get this amazing finish.
It's right on the knife edge right now. Brandon closes in the championship. But the race results today, Johnny Brandon, what a race. Pulled off the 2-stopper. We'll never know, I guess, which was faster, the 2-stopper or the 3-stopper, because in the end, they are separated by less than a tenth of a second. Stephen Latsmore, great drive from him. Gotta give a shout out to him. 16.5 seconds off the lead, and he was quite a bit behind actually after the first few laps. So brilliant drive from Stephen to come home in third. I think that's probably his best result of the season. So well done to him. Michael Avdoka, it could have been better. It could have been worse. I must say, I'm not sure if he had the pace of the top two out there. Early on, he seemed to be struggling against Foggy, but I think he'll take that fourth place after that terrifying moment down the pit straight. Tony Klusman comes home in fifth after getting pole position. That strategy just never worked out for Tony, and he just lacked a little bit of pace. Also, a penalty in the pit stop that cost him as well. Michel Ricci, good debut for him in sixth position. Chris Jackson comes home in seventh. Could have been a fourth for him, but he was super unlucky out there with that contact. Jamie McKnight come home in eighth. Jose Borges, another good race from him in ninth. Anthony Woodward comes home in 10th. Richard Warmingham, very kind of on his own race up there in 11th.
But obviously there wasn't a lot in it. I wasn't planning to do the two-stop. I just didn't quite do as well as I'd hoped in quali. So after the first stint behind the top three, I was saving so much fuel, lifting and coasting everywhere. I thought I might as well go for it. I did start worrying in the second stint because I was lifting and coasting so much more to try and make those laps, but paid off in the end. So happy days.
Oh yes, most definitely. Happy to get a third. I wasn't too confident coming into this round. This track, cars, lights everywhere. Typical slippery Japanese track. But yeah, strategy worked out for me in the long run.
In the final 5 rounds, final 2 meetings coming up in the next month here on Apex Racing TV. From me, Marco and Alex, we will see you in 2 weeks' time at Kota for the penultimate round of the season.
Good evening, welcome back to Silverstone and the BSRTC Pro Series. We're getting ready for race 2 here. I'm joined alongside by Samuli Kumo, and Sam Fitzpatrick has joined us for race 2 onwards. We're looking at Morgan Butler on pole position right now with Jordan Giddings, Carl Jacquelet, Scott Malcolm and Colin Cunniff. Fifth on the grid is the highest placed pro driver in this race. What do you reckon's going to happen with this one, Sam? How are we looking?
Well, I'm hoping for action. That's all we can really hope for, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get it. Big old reverse for this second race, so expect a lot of quick guys to be making their way through. Of course, the showdown getting closer and closer. These points absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it might affect the driving a little bit, I imagine, with people trying to be a bit more conservative because they know, like you say, that showdown's coming. But hopefully we'll see.
Really expect that from these drivers?
We'll see. As the lights go green and off we go. Jordan Giddings then from pole. Oh, it says Jordan Giddings actually. He's on pole, but I'm sure he wasn't a moment ago. Not quite sure what's happened there. I think someone there.
Yeah, that would be because Morgan Butler did not take the start. He's starting from the pits alongside Nathan Davis.
So yeah, some guys off there as everyone goes a bit Tokyo drift through turn 1. there's a big bit of contact. There's an Apex car. The CQR boys getting held up in that as well. I think Ash Sutton and Alex Simpson were involved in that, as they all managed to control their way through. As we look at the number 20 car there on the outside of the GT Omega, there's guys with cold tyres. There's a big bit of netcode from that 11 car on the inside there. If I think rightly, that was Jake Blackhall with his lovely Australian internet. It's there was a massive bit of netcode. There's about 3 feet between him and the other 2 cars, and they just both went absolutely flying. But Colin Cunniff has taken the lead from 5th on the grid. Great stuff. 4 places gaining 1 lap. Giddings is still 2nd. Sakovic is up to 3rd as we look at this massive pack here. Max Wright in the Automat car leading the way. They're 2 wide behind him, and ahead of them there's even more gaggle. But look at it, it's just a sea of cars and the battles everywhere, Sam. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But the driver who is pulling away is Colin Cunniff. He's already a second ahead. He's absolutely driving superbly from 5th on the grid, and that's just the start he wants. And of course, he should be pulling away from those drivers behind. In fact, I think it's side by side between Giddings and Sakovic. Here we go. Giddings going through Maggots, and is that Maggots? I'm not sure. Oh, he's gone wide though, and Sakovic is going to go down the inside, and now he can maybe hunt down the race leader. It could be a fantastic duel between those 2 later on. Adam McNally gets involved as well. They're side by side, laying down the Wellington Straight. And it'll be fascinating who wins out of this one. McNally's going to have to hang it round the outside a little bit early on the brakes though for Giddings. And McNally should just about have the inside for the final corner. 3 wide now going into this one. There's going to be contact. There is contact all the way through the corner, and we could even have a spinner. Not quite.
They did really well to keep that going there. Who's that? The number 28 car. That's Pete Newman. He did a great job there. He's rubbing alongside the Apex car there. That's number 2. It's Alex Simpson. Getting a bit hairy. There's an Automat car on the right as well. Oh, these boys are doing a really good job at avoiding a big accident here, to be fair. But it's probably a case of when, not if, as it stands currently. We're looking at the number 23 car, Jordan Giddings, then getting absolutely swamped, wearing that very famous number 23 of the likes of Anthony Reid and Laurent Aiello from the BTCC in the 90s. And he's back under control now in the Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car, which is probably one of the greatest team names I've ever heard. Let's just look at it. Let's just look at it. There's just cars everywhere, side by side. We've got 2 CQR cars here now. Pete Newman and his teammate Russie Laidler, all behind Kip Stevens in the Pro Sim car. Laidler's on the inside, gets the move done, hopping over the curbs, but there's 2 V-Racer cars behind them as well, looking to pounce. That's Russ McFarlane and Dan Brown, I believe. As Dan runs a little bit wide with the 115 car. Diogo Melro, their previous Club Series champion, trying to make the move. Not seen much of Dan Brown before myself. Have you seen anything of him, Sam? What do you reckon?
Well, he seems to be driving pretty well right now. There's apparently 9 Daniel Browns. I'm not entirely surprised, to be honest. It is quite a common name. But yeah, he is driving superbly right now. Up 1 position from 15th on the grid. And, you know, if he can just keep it clean, he's going to gain a lot of positions. I think Kip Stevens just side by side, just ahead. Wesley Laidler, by the way, up 8 positions. What a good start that is from him. Kip Stevens trying to take one of those positions away as they go side by side once again. Laidler probably got the ideal line. Stevens, though, could maybe muscle his way around the outside. We have seen that done so far to date, and he is going to try to go for a little bit deeper on the brakes of Stevens. But if he can just keep his nose in, he can't quite. Just has to slot in behind. A bit of contact behind as well. Bit of bumping. And yeah, I think it's just side by side between McFarlane and Melro now.
Yeah, it's just constant battling. I mean, they look like they were 3 wide in the background then. Just as a quick reiteration, Adam McNally did the fastest lap of the race last time of 15.02. He's up in 3rd place at the moment, performing really well. As we look at Melro, still battling away with McFarlane and Dan Brown. He's having a right old handful with these 2 V-Racer cars. There's grass being chucked up, one of the Northern Lights cars there as well. Stephen Baxter in the mix. Oh, big sideways moment there from the number 1 car. Who was that? That was, I'm not familiar with this, sorry, it's Savidovic. Get a right wobble on as he came in there. Chucked it to the left and it just went round on him, but managed to keep it. Sutton there, just ahead, seems to be banging doors with someone. That's Stuart McFadden's up in the mix as well. It's number 46 car, Adam Hadfield. Oh, contact with Sutton. Look at that for a drift. He's done a fantastic job of saving that. Brilliant stuff. He's running a little bit wide. There's going to be contact again with Hadfield. Number 3 car there, that's, I'm sorry, I'm really not familiar with the numbers at the moment. That's George Simmons. He's going to try and take advantage of this. He's up 5 places already. He's alongside Jake Blackhall there in the CQR car. Oof, that was a bit aggressive looking there from Hadfield as he cuts back behind Sutton. Sutton well on his way now. He's up 17 places to 18th. Absolutely brilliant stuff as always from Ash. As all behind, they're going 3 wide. One of the Northern Lights cars just dabbing on the brakes to get out of it. Even takes to the grass there to avoid it, but I suppose... oh no, that's Savinovic getting a big tag. Brilliant save. Not quite sure who went into him there. It was the number 8 car. That's Jamie Rushworth, race 1 winner. And the 3 wide now down the straight. I believe that's the number 20 car, Steve Baxter. It is. There's another CQR car behind. Is he going to help his teammate out at all? Savinovic down the inside. Number 5 car, David Baker, I believe it is.
Savinovic being a little bit pushed around at the moment. He will not like that whatsoever, will Wojciech. He should be able to make that move now. Up 13 positions, up into 19th place now. He's not got it done yet though. Oh, there's nearly contact down the pit straight. Just went a little bit wide through Woodcut and going into Cobbs. He has actually lost out this time to Jamie Rushworth, up 13 places himself. Those two kind of need to start working together to get the drivers ahead, because you can see they could pick off several of them in the next few laps if they get on with it. You can see they've already got right onto the back of them. I think that's Blaine Glatzel there, just running a little bit wide. His momentum seems to have been halted a little bit. And Nicole Foggy also in there as well.
A bit of a damaged car as Sven Glatzel. He looks like, just like Savinovic, he's been pushed around a bit. I don't think there's a straight panel on that Kia. Probably use it in a breaker's yard at some point, but look at this, 2 wide everywhere. There's number 11 car then. Oh, he's getting pushed out. That's Adam McNally, I think. Is that number 33, Adam McNally? I'm really sorry, I'm not sure. No, it's Jack McIntyre, I apologise. Adam McNally's a bit further up the order, but he was really getting shoved around there. He's managed to save it. He's not quite in that group, but I'd say he's going to be part of it pretty soon. They're all just avoiding each other, rejoining the track. They all try and just pitch that nose in, and I mean, not sure how much you've driven of the Kia, Sam, but it's a very understeery little brat, as Jack McIntyre actually disappears for a sec. It's his internet rather than disqualification. But yeah, have you driven much of the Kia, Sam? Do you know how she is?
Very little. I've done a little bit for fun, I think, and yeah, that's the main thing that people say about the Kia. It understeers, so that cannot be denied whatsoever. But these are just doing a superb job. Of course, this track, plenty of medium speed corners, so I imagine it's quite a handful around here, because we're just holding back George Simmons currently. Or will he be able to? He's just left a little bit of a pocket open on the inside there. Just invited his rival back down the inside, but he should get a stronger run there. And actually just behind, actually getting involved, is Dan Brown, down 2 positions now from his start, and he's looking for any way through, but it's attack or be attacked. He's just about made it to the inside there. That was very useful there from his spotter, just running all wide there, and it could be a 3 wide battle here, going into Maggot's car off just ahead as well.
That was very opportunistic there by Stuart McFadden, actually. He was down the inside as number 3. He's just all over the place right now, George Simmons. He turned it into turn 1, and he had his rear wheel on the grass, and McFadden seemed to notice it. He dabbed his brakes as a car off on the right. Someone's off in the wall. That's one of the V-Racer cars. Is that Nicole Foggy? Ross McFarlane that's gone off. Let's have a quick look at what happened to him then. So he's battling along with Ash Sutton there. He comes back on. Oh, and he just gets it crossed up. He tried to avoid the Northern Lights car. Ash obviously just didn't realise that's why he was coming across. He mustn't have seen the car on the outside, and then as he corrected it, tipped it back into the wall.
It's incredible how we haven't seen that every lap, to be honest, because there was just, ever so slightly too much contact, just a small misunderstanding, and that was enough to put him in the wall. It's surprising that it doesn't happen every lap, to be honest, because the racing has been so close out there so far. We should just go back to the lead, because we haven't seen them for a while. Colin Cunningham still leading by 1.8 seconds. He's maintained that gap to Maciej Sakovic in second position. Adam McNally still running in 3rd, with Mark Johnston also gets involved there in 4th. So those 3 having a good battle, still maybe feeling as though they can put some pressure on Colin later on. But right now, Cunningham is driving absolutely faultlessly there. A bit of a gap back to Alex Simpson in 5th, with Rusty Laidler continuing his strong drive. That'd be an awesome 5th position from 17th on the grid if he could take that. Yeah,
definitely. He's always been strong in this car, as Russell. I know that he took a bit of time out of iRacing when he was doing. He came back to the World GT Championship, and I was having a chat with him about that. But he's always been strong in this car. He's consistent. He does a lot of front-wheel drive racing in the Volkswagen Mark II Cup, I believe, all over the UK. Not quite sure what package it's part of, But yeah, he's always been strong in that. It's the car bouncing around. That's another sort of trait of the Kia, is that it's so stiff. You hit curbs in this thing, it can either sort of help it if it releases a bit of traction from the inside, or it can just bounce it wide. As Rusty really lining Alex up here. It's later on the brakes. He's got it tucked in. Alex is just giving him enough room. It's really strong racing by the pair of them. He's just made a little bit of contact. Really close stuff by these guys. Both really quick drivers. They've both been doing this for a while. Alex is defending for all his worth. And we get the absolute best seat in the house here from Mark Woodhouse. And let's see how this unravels itself.
Simpson just about keeping his nose in there, and he's going to go wide, and he's going to push them both off. And Woodhouse, with just a door opening for him, goes past the pair then, but this move is not done yet. Still side by side with Rusty Laidler, and actually Simpson's going to try to go through as well. Woodhouse will be content just getting the one of them at the moment. Laidler's off into the distance already, and it's going to be 2 by 2 down this Wellington straight.
You've got Melrose and Stevens in there as well. I actually did a little bit of a fist bump in the air there for Woodhouse when he made that, but he's obviously still got a fight for it now. That's the thing I was saying in race 1, you just cannot let off anywhere. The two team mad cars now, Melrose and Woodhouse working together. Simpson's got back in front, and then they've got to think about Stevens behind. He's always there or thereabouts, is Kip Stevens. He's right on the bumper of Woodhouse now. You might have to think whether Woodhouse will let Melrose go here, because I think Melrose is a little bit quicker as it stands. But they don't want to compromise it too much, that Ellis gains from it as well. Ellis being Kip, of course, sorry. I always call him by one name or the other. Melrose turns it in. Great work there as a rear gunner by Mark Woodhouse, although he might have a bit less of a run. He's got the 2 CQR cars behind him as well. That's Pete Newman and then Ash Sutton, who's gained 24 places so far.
Yeah, casually good drive there from Ash. We haven't seen too much of him. We've seen a little bit, but yeah, just making his way up through the pit. And a little bit of contact once again. So that was Newman and Stevens, of course. Just about hanging on to that one was Stevens, and actually Newman has now lost a position. Ash Sutton, can he get this move done right now? He's going to make it eventually. It's just when does he make it, and how soon can he go and attack the drivers ahead? Stevens trying to get involved, but probably does the right thing there and just backs out of it.
Unbelievable stuff. It's just, that boy makes that car do things that other people can't. It's just... I mean, it's just, well, there's nothing much really to say other than, obviously I don't want to blow smoke up his backside all day, but you can just see it visually. You watch him racing this, and you know why he does what he does. And as you can see now, he's chasing down the 2 team mad cars. That's Woodhouse and then Melrose. Cunniff still in the lead of this race, by the way, 2.2 second lead, and then McNally and Johnston and Sakovic, not in that order particularly, I got that wrong. They're second, third and fourth, and they're still doing really well. Laidler's up to 5th though, he's actually passed Alex Simpson now. So Ash will probably be hoping to get a little bit further up the order. I mean, he's into the top 10, and that in itself is just, well, it's an incredible drive either way, no matter how you look at it. And you can see visually how quickly he's catching onto Woodhouse here, as Simpson's having a little bit of a struggle around Luffield too. It seems Melrose all over the back of him. It's such, I can feel the struggle, knowing how this car handles. I can feel the struggle out of that last corner, just trying to get the traction down and not spin the fronts, because 375 brake horsepower in a front wheel drive turbo car that handles like a canal boat on the best of days is just not, it's not ideal out of Luffield too.
Simpson did really well just to hold back Melrose for now. Has lost a little bit of touch with the drive just ahead. Melrose though not having any of it, and he has gone down the inside. Simpson loses all of his momentum, and he could lose 3 positions there. That has not worked out at all well for Alex. He's surely going to lose a position to Ash, he was already lost a position to Ash Sutton. Next up is Mark Woodhouse, who could make the move, but just about hanging on is Alex there, and getting in behind is Kip Stevens. Well, an opportunistic move that was from Kip. And still going around the outside. Is he just going to aim for a good exit here? No, he's going to try to carry the speed out. He should get a good exit anyway, to be honest. And that slipstream from Simpson just ahead is only going to help his cause as they go through Woodcut. Flat out, obviously, in these cars. I don't think Stevens is going to do it quite this time unless he's significantly later on the brakes, so he's willing to pick up a 1X.
He does a good job around the outside there, doesn't he? Might put him in good standing for the brakes here, but obviously doesn't want to leave it too late in case he goes into the back of Simpson. Oh, the car really likes to wobble and unsettle itself there. Kip's going to try a cutback by the look of it. Oh, he gets it a bit crossed up, but he's got a good run still. Still side by side with Woodhouse, they're the other way around now, so let's see how it works for him this time, because if he can keep it round the outside into Luffield 1, and as he goes into Luffield 2, he'll have the inside line, and hopefully the momentum. He's a little bit later on the brakes, he comes across gradually, see the brake disc glow in there. Woodhouse keeps the tight line, but Ellis has nailed that. He's done a brilliant job there. He's kept Woodhouse honest, but he's got the line. He's just going to get rid of the overlap, and he's done it. Woodhouse just backs out slightly there, really gentlemanly driving there, which is good of him. And Stevens gets the place. Fantastic stuff by those boys. There's ahead, you can see Sutton and Laidler.
Yeah, Sutton, so he's already made that one actually. So he's already ahead of Wesley Laidler now. So he's got, what? So he's got 3.7 seconds to catch. Don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, for him, as we've only got a few more laps to go, but that's still up 30 positions for Sutton. That is a fantastic drive. Getting really interesting now between McNally and Johnston. If these guys are going to finish on the podium, they've kind of got to get a move on with it now. They've been very courteous so far, almost into the back there. 54 driver McNally just about hanging on in there. Oh, he's tried to cut off Johnston ever so slightly there, but Johnston hasn't got the better drive. No, he hasn't. Just a little bit earlier on the power there was McNally, and these two costing each other time. Sutton, like I said, I don't think he's going to get involved in this one, although he is consistently 4 tenths, 5 tenths faster per lap. It's all about this second, third and fourth positions now.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see in the distance, Cunniff has just run away with it. As we look back from McNally now at the chasing Mark Johnston. He used to be teammates with Mark Johnston back in the day, and I think it was season 8 or 9 of the BSRTC Pro Series back in Leo Bodner days. Now that's going back a bit in my iRacing career, but Mark's always been quick. He drives for a living as far as I know. I think he's a driving instructor. I'm not 100% sure on his exact job title, but I know he does a lot of exciting things with Porsche. So he's got the experience, he's got the know-how, and he translates it into really good pace in this Kia. And I'm not going to lie, that Simulta livery is very pretty as we get a bit more of a closer view of it into the Luffield corners. It's got really good momentum through there, though. It depends on the exit. This might be the difference you see. There's a tiny difference in the exit speeds, though, there. I mean, what sort of exit would you go for on that? Would you try and sort of keep it slow and smooth, or would you try and carry momentum a bit wider?
To be fair, I don't really want to tell these drivers what to do, as they probably know a lot better than me, but it seems to be the line. Just, you know, keeping decent speed tight on the inside and just, you know, throwing it as soon as possible, not kind of oversteering or anything like that. Or just having to go defensive there was Nally, maybe still going around the outside, and if you got the outside through this one, you may well get a better run onto the Wellington Straight, and that's a superb move potentially round the outside there from Johnston. McNally still going to have a chance. We've seen the outside line, if anything, slightly better for this corner. And McNally's trying to back me up here, and he is just about staying in there, almost inside each other, I think, the two cars there. But McNally has finally lost out, and Johnston gets onto the podium, and if he really gets on with it, he may even be able to challenge Maciej Sakovic just ahead.
Yeah, it was a really consistent manoeuvre there by Johnston. That, again, just shows his experience with driving the car and controlling it well. Really good fight put up by McNally, though. He's doing really well in this car so far. It's a great race meeting for him already. I'm sure he'll be happy with the 4th place for the Youth Energy boys, as Sakovic just keeping it nice and stable ahead of him. He's happy with 2nd place. Previous Club Series champion, of course, Maciej Sakovic. He won the first series, which was not broadcasted, unfortunately, but it was, let me tell you, it was close. I think he won the championship by like 0.08 of a second over the line, because he was out of the final race and someone else overtook his main rival on the straight out of the last corner. It was unbelievable. But yeah, he's still doing a good job in this car to this day. 2nd place, but Colin Cunniff has run away with it. As Mark Johnston as well. Doesn't seem to be coming under a massive amount of pressure from McNally, but he's keeping him honest. These boys have been quite sort of evenly spaced out the whole race, haven't they?
Yeah, these guys have just been super evenly matched. Maybe Johnston's been ever so slightly fastest, but has just been stuck ever so slightly in 4th position. But yeah, he'll be pleased to get on the podium. Cannot complain about that. And he has dragged himself a little bit, because on that last lap, he gained 1.5 tenths. He's got to get it done on this lap. And you can see he's not going to give up his Mark Johnston. But I think he's just going to come up a little bit short in that battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, Maciej's always been quite a controlled driver as we look back at Ash Sutton, Rusty Laidler and Diogo Melro there. they've gained a little bit of time away from Alex Simpson now. It seems that these two CQR guys have dragged Melrose with them. I think Slipstream probably being blamed for that. But Colin Cunniff then is going to come around the final 2 corners, and that is pretty much, I'd say, how it's done. 5th on the grid, 1st by the end of lap 1, not an absolute mark on his car. And for the Northern Lights GT Omega team, Colin Cunniff wins race 2 of the evening, ladies and gents. Fantastic drive. Sakovic comes across the line 2nd. Johnston with a brilliant 3rd after gaining 10 places. McNally 4th. Ash Sutton finishing 5th. 30 places gained. Rusty Laidler in 6th. And we can hear skid marks at the bottom of the stream. We'll probably see some cars on the runoff area. But great race as always. Nice and actually quite nice and clean, to be fair. A few little incidents, but nothing major.
Yeah, absolutely, and you really summed it up with Colin Cunniff. It was very much just a textbook race. It's always nice to win from 10th on the grid or whatever, but Colin there, he made that one look easy. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was super intense within that cockpit. He had to put in lap times within a tenth of each other, lap after lap after lap, because it's so close out there. But Colin did it absolutely superb. We did not see one moment of frustration or anything from him. He was absolutely superb, and yeah, that's how you do it.
Definitely is, and must say it's a very, very pretty race car as well, that Northern Lights GT Omega Kia Optima. There are a lot of pretty cars in this field. I mean, liveries every season just get better and better, and with real sponsors as well being involved in this, which is one of the greatest things about this series. And to be fair, the iRacing service is that you get guys that are really sponsored by these companies. If you've not looked into iRacing before or seen much of it, we can honestly tell you that a lot of these guys are really sponsored by the logos that you see on these cars. It's taken very seriously, and as you can tell by the performance of everyone in this series, it's thorough, very thorough. And we should have results any second. Sam, if you would like to do the honours.
Yes, Colin Cunniff wins the race 2 of the evening. Maciej Sakovic in 2nd place. Mark Johnston finishes in 3rd with Adam McNally in 4th. Ashley Sutton finishes in 5th place with Rusty Laidler in 6th. Then it's Diego Melrose, Alex Simpson, Mark Woodhouse, Kip Stevens, Adam Hadfield in the top 11. Then it's Max Wright, Pete Newman, Wojciech Suridovic, Jamie Rushworth, Daniel Brown, Nicole Foggy, Christian Rose, Michael Hall, Pete Howard, Stuart McFadden, George Simmons, Stephen Baxter, Michael Blake, William Daniels, David Baker, Jake Blackhall, Scott Malcolm, Ross McFarlane, Justin Boyce rounding out the top 30, and behind that it was Lee Deemer, Brian Holmes, Nathan Davies, Morgan Butler, Jordan Giddings, Chris Wood, Sven Glatzel, Jack McIntyre, and Carl Yacolet rounding out the 39 car field.
Quite a lot of those boys actually started near the front of the field as well. They're quite far down there, so they'll be a bit disappointed in that. I believe Samuli will have the reverse grid wheel up any moment. To determine the
yes,
third
we do.
grid
We have the wheel on the screen right now. Let's see what we get for the final race of the evening. And it's about to finish. Do we get the grid again? We get... It is... Well, it's close, but it is again -1.
Okay, so unfortunately for Morgan Butler, he would have been on pole, but thanks to the -1, it's Nathan Davis, Brian Holmes 2nd on the grid, and Lee Deemer 3rd with Tristan Bodis 4th.
To be fair to Morgan, he was on pole position for the second race, so he can't feel unlucky for himself.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So from myself, Sam and Samuli, we will be back with you about 10-15 minutes for the final exciting race of the evening. Don't go away.
and he will get his foot down any moment now as the pace car pulls in. Tony Klinsmann waits to apply the throttle, and there he goes. It's not a brilliant launch for him, and Michael Abdoka's right on his tail. Can he get into the slipstream? It's just side by side between Foggy, but Klinsmann hangs on to the inside. Abdoka not taking too many risks, and down the inside for Klinsmann. It's a good start for him, just holding on against Abdoka. Foggy into third, Brandon fourth, Jackson fifth, Lutzmore sixth.
And Daledonne goes around at the chicane. He's bringing the car back onto the track, but he lost a lot of positions there. Too aggressive, as I said, inexperienced with his cars, and it showed here.
And Abdoka leads this race, and now Foggy's looking for any opportunity to get past. Brandon looking racy as well in fourth. Klinsmann, he's not used to this, being overtaken on just the second lap. But it seems to be that Abdoka has certainly the pace to win this race. Down the inside goes Klinsmann. Abdoka not building up a lead, but Klinsmann there trying to stay as close as possible. Trying to get the move down into the Casio triangle. Down the inside goes Lutzmore, and he can get that done, and here comes Ritchie. Down the inside, can he get it stopped? Just about, but he needs to get the cut back now. Really dry, and off the track goes Lutzmore. He got the move done. Ritchie might gain two positions here in a couple of corners. Ritchie into the slipstream. Gotta go to the inside, not much defence from Jackson. And Ritchie will just go straight through here, and he goes up into fifth place. Brilliant debut drive for Ritchie out.
Sorry guys, I want to butt in very quickly. Michele Ritchie around, coming out of the Casio triangle. Issues for him.
Yeah, I was watching the live timing. I thought he was going in for a pit stop, for a very early pit stop, but you're right, he went around.
I think Klinsmann might be about to lose a position here. Here comes Foggy. Klinsmann's got to slow down. Don't go into the back of him, Brandon. Oh, that was so close. Klinsmann was desperate not to drop down to fourth. Foggy close, not looking for a move. Do you think that was maybe... Do you think he's quite happy? Do you think that's a sign? Because there was no kind of glance to the inside at all there. Oh, he's off the track. No. But he's held on. He's going to remain in second place. Wow, that was so close. What's that? Oh, what do you think of that?
The commentator's curse?
Oh, no.
Oh, another error.
And Brandon now around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the final S. And Klinsmann started in first place. But on lap 10, he's fallen down to fourth.
And avoiding contact. Well, the other car
we
was
got another
joining
driver up. So, Rosie Borges has just gone off. McKnight, no. Wow, and now down the inside of both of them goes Michel Ritchie. Down the inside goes Ritchie. McKnight's going to try to hang it round the outside. Ritchie hangs on 2 places in one. We're seeing McKnight spend 10 laps behind Borges, not being able to make up 1 place. And Ritchie has made up 2 places here twice now in this event. Doesn't seem like anyone's going to pick this time round. And
Boosterman is in.
Oh well. So Alex, you were the opposite.
Miles off.
Abdoka's in. So Abdoka's in.
And of course, he beats this time.
Well, now we're really confused because I was hoping that for once Apex Racing TV would know what's going on with the strategy, but that's right in the middle. So he's left himself options, but now a 2-stop's going to be surely really difficult for him to achieve. A driver a little bit off the... Foggy is in. Foggy's in. Is Brandon in? No, Brandon stays out. So surely that's got to be a 2-stop for Brandon. Is Foggy exiting the pits? Yes, he's miles ahead. Foggy is a long... Nicole Foggy with a much shorter pit stop. 9 seconds shorter.
And Johnny Brandon is in from the first position.
Lutzmore in as well, and Jackson. So that seems to be the cutoff. No further than 19 laps on these tyres. Foggy will retake the lead. Brandon still stationary, clearly going on the same strategy as his teammate Michael Abdoka, but where will he be in relation to Abdoka? Abdoka passed. So Brandon still stationary. It's going to be a 35-second stop, 3 seconds slower than his teammate. Stephen Lutzmore gonna be, exactly the same stop for him though, 4 seconds, and Jackson 34 seconds. Where's Ritchie compared to them? Ritchie has jumped them both. So Ritchie with that short stop has gone from 7th to 5th. in that pit stop period. Just building on your point you just said, how drivers aren't really taking advantage. Tony Klusman just made a big error. An error now for Richie. Lattimore down the inside. Richie's not going to have a chance, and that's much better than what Richie did in the Casio Triangle when Klusman made a mistake, because Lattimore has pounced on that, and that was a really good opportunistic move in the end. Whitaker's got to let past these two. This is not what Lattimore needs whatsoever. But again, Richie's not there to take advantage. Whitaker off the circuit, but lets them through eventually. And again, Richie, he's not really there. What's the chances of there? Oh my goodness, Lattimore, another slide. Here comes Richie down the inside of Spoon. Can he make it? Yes, he can. No, he's got a big slide down the inside. Goes Lattimore. He's going to have to drag the second part of Spoon, sorry. And here comes back Richie. They're going to be side by side, going into 130R now, heading up the hill. And Richie, doubt he's going to have a go down here.
Klusterman is in. Yeah, Klusterman is in for a pit stop.
Okay. Yeah, I really should just shut up now, shouldn't I? Because I've been wrong on every single count.
Yeah, number 66.
Oh, he's in.
He's in, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this is really spicing up now. I was a bit concerned that maybe they're all going to go for 2 stops, but there's a clear divide in the strategy. Foggy in on lap 30 of 56. So, of course,
and Evdoka is in.
Evdoka is in. Oh, wow. Okay.
By the way, and now he's the new leader.
Evdoka's ahead of Foggy. What a quick stop for Michael Evdoka. 7.7 seconds for Evdoka. What a pit stop. He is into the net lead.
And Lattimore is around again. Oh no, he's safety.
No. Oh, he's going to lead up to Jackson, isn't he? Here comes Jackson. Is he going to get a slowdown, Lattimore? And Lattimore does pit this time, so he won't have to serve the slowdown. That's the smart thing to do. Yeah, classic error in this car. We've seen it a few times today. Just the wheel spin is so difficult to control. Really do respect these drivers out here for doing, 56 laps in such powerful cars. Just a little bit of a reference. Foggy is 25 seconds behind, and they both have a stop to go. Brandon's stop is going to be significantly longer, however, but Foggy is closing in at 2 seconds a lap currently, and is now only 3 seconds behind Michael Evdoka. So, I think Brandon's in. Brandon's in.
He's in.
So, this is going to be kind of where we get a decent reference and the target for Foggy, because he's going to undoubtedly be a long way behind, but it's how far behind it is going to be the important question. And Jackson in it as well, yeah. So Evdoka will lead. No, Evdoka's in! Oh my goodness. So Evdoka had that super short second stint. You know what? I don't think that's worked for him, has it? Surely not, because he's going to have the same length of pit stop as Brandon. And, just lots more going past. And Chris Jackson going past as well. Michael Evdoka, Jim McKnight going past. And Jose Borges just going through 130 up. And Klusman, 25 seconds now stationary, and away he goes. So decent stop for Klusman. And I think he might just stick in that 7th place to the end of the race now. He's still stationary. Brandon is coming across the line now. Foggy still stationary. Still taking fuel seemingly. Brandon's going to take the lead. Through goes Johnny Brandon into the lead of the race. Nicole Foggy now gets away.
Definitely tyres, guys. Second sector.
Okay, thanks for that.
Optimal straight away. Sector 2, optimal. So he's quick.
This is on, so 8 seconds to catch. And he has got, this is lap 49 of 56. This is proper intense now. He doesn't, can he go to the inside here? Big slide for Jackson. Jackson's slow, going to be slow on the exit. Here comes Evdoka. Needs to get the run. This is crucial. Championship point to get such a big slide as Michael Evdoka. But he's still in the slipstream, right behind Chris Jackson. They're not going to clear the 71 car in time. Defensive from Jackson Brown. The outside goes Evdoka. He needs this all the way around the outside through the first part. Through the second part. He can get the inside for the third part. He's nearly lost it. Oh my goodness me, I thought that was curtains for the pair of them. Evdoka, I thought he'd made it, but clearly those marbles just affecting him too much.
He maybe doesn't know that Johnny Brandon is on worse tires than Foggy, so he doesn't know that there will. Oh, we got an attack on the outside that was very
He's
risky.
go for it. He's got the inside maybe for the final corner. Here he goes. He's got to go for it. Brandon down the inside. Can't make it.
Long story short, he wants to make the pass. He wants to get the point. Because we don't know if Foggy will be able to pass Brandon, in all seriousness. And he tries again on the outside.
Oh,
they
big contact.
touch!
Oh,
That's a
oh
big
my
crash.
goodness. Wow. That was as close as... Oh, and he's got damage. I think that's Jackson with steering damage maybe. Brandon got decent traction from the hairpin. And Foggy, he's struggling to get any closer. He's 4/10 behind. This is about the same gap as last time. He should have the run through spoon. This is where he was so quick at the start of the race. And now he's lining it up. He's got to absolutely nail this traction zone here. He's close, he's close. He's nailed the traction. And now here comes Foggy in the slipstream. Any chance into 130R. Warming him, the car, Woodward gets out of the way. Foggy so close. Brandon, surely he's got to defend into the Cascade Triangle. Brandon defends, to the outside goes Foggy. Can he go round the outside here? He tries it, he can't make it. Can he get the traction on the exit? It's going to be Johnny Brandon, surely, to take the race victory. His 6th of the season, and Brandon gets it. What a race. Foggy in 2nd place. Wow, Marco, that really was the finish we all wanted.
2 hours of racing and we get this amazing finish.
It's right on the knife edge right now. Brandon closes in the championship. But the race results today, Johnny Brandon, what a race. Pulled off the 2-stopper. We'll never know, I guess, which was faster, the 2-stopper or the 3-stopper, because in the end, they are separated by less than a 10th of a second. Stephen Latsmott, great drive from him. Gotta give a shout out to him. 16.5 seconds off the lead, and he was quite a bit behind actually after the first few laps, so brilliant drive from Stephen to come home in 3rd. I think that's probably his best result of the season, so well done to him. Michael Evdoka, it could have been better, it could have been worse. I must say, I'm not sure if he had the pace of the top 2 out there. Early on, he seemed to be struggling against Foggy, but I think he'll take that 4th place after that terrifying moment down the pit straight. Tony Klusman comes home in 5th after getting pole position. That strategy just never worked out for Tony, and he just lacked a little bit of pace. Also, a penalty in the pit stop, that cost him as well. Michel Ricci, good debut for him in 6th position. Chris Jackson comes home in 7th, could have been a 4th for him, but he was super unlucky out there with that contact. Jamie McKnight come home in 8th. Jose Borges, another good race from him in 9th. Anthony Woodward comes home in 10th. Richard Warmingham, very kind of on his own race up there in 11th.
But obviously there wasn't a lot in it. I wasn't planning to do the 2-stop. I just didn't quite do as well as I'd hoped in quali. So after the first stint behind the top 3, I was saving so much fuel, lifting and coasting everywhere. I thought I might as well go for it. I did start worrying in the 2nd stint because I was lifting and coasting so much more to try and make those laps, but paid off in the end. So happy days.
Oh yes, most definitely. Happy to get a 3rd. I wasn't too confident coming into this round. This track, cars, lights everywhere. Typical slippery Japanese track. But yeah, strategy worked out for me in the long run.
In the final 5 rounds, final 2 meetings coming up in the next month here on Apex Racing TV. From me, Marco and Alex, we will see you in 2 weeks' time at Kota for the penultimate round of the season. Dima is now only second behind Ralph Cullen. I don't know how that's happened. Cullen then was about 8 seconds ahead at one point.
Dima has
And
been
now-
flying.
Yeah, a second a lap every lap. You know what, that kind of slow speed down the straights of the BMW may not be too costly, but Dima, he's got so much more.
Oh,
Welcome back to a overcast Silverstone and the BSRTC Pro Series. I'm Chaz Draycott alongside Sam Fitzpatrick and Samuli Kumo on the cameras tonight for Apex Racing TV. We're looking at the grid of Kia Optimas, which are getting ready to go for the third and final race of the evening. We've got Nathan Davis on pole position in an Apex car, and alongside him we've got Brian Holmes in an Apex car. So from our standpoint right now, it's going pretty well, wouldn't you say, Sam?
Yeah, we're not biased. Like, don't get that idea or whatever. Only bribes will let us be like that. Anyway, will be interesting to see who wins out in this one. Again, not too many top drivers near the front of the grid, so it will be fascinating to see how the drivers can make their way up the pack.
Okay, the revs are rising. The green light is on and they're away. Looks like a good start from the two front runners. You've got to keep an eye on number 15, Ross McFarlane, fifth on the grid. He's really quick all the time. That's Tristan Bodis in the number 58 car for Team Mad's got a great start there, the black and orange car. Seems like Lee Deemer for the Simulta team. Whoa, a big drift on there by Lee through turn one. He's bogged down a little bit, but look at Tristan Bodis go. Ex-teammate of mine in last minute racing in some of the endurance series that we did. And what a start by Tristan. Great stuff. It's good to see him back in the car actually. I wasn't even aware he was still racing it, but bouncing around and he's up to second place already. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Nathan Davis already 8/10 clear, and whilst these two fight against each other, they clearly feel as though track position is very important at this opening stages. Of course, in the first race, they're all very quite calm to each other near the front of the pack. In this one, though, it's really aggressive, and managing to get back that second place is Brian Holmes, and Bodis will just try to keep on to that top 3 position.
It'll make you think now whether Brian's going to start defending a little bit. If he is, that's if he is slower than Nathan. To be fair, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on how their pace compares, but if obviously Tristan and Ross start battling away and it holds them up, then it's going to work out well for these two Apex boys at the front. Further down the order, then just looking at who the big movers are on that one, and it's no surprise Ash Sutton's gained 11 places on lap 1. Jamie Rushworth's gained 5. Wojciech Savidovic has got 5 as well. Michael Hall's up 4. Most of the guys within the top 6 have gained 1 place at the expense of Lee Deemer, who's down in 8th as we see. That's Nickel Foggy getting a tap there from Ash Sutton. Completely flying sideways there, Nickel. He manages to save it without too much damage. He's going to have a bit of a smooth rejoin then, but he's lost a lot of places there, Sam.
Yeah, that's pretty frustrating. A small tap, you're in the gravel, and you lost 20, well, maybe not 20 positions, but, you know, probably a dozen positions. Right there, oh, he's made contact there. That's a nice save from Adam McNally, I think that was. Yeah, that's an awesome save. We've seen a few of them today already. McNally, very fortunate there, not to fall to the rear of the field.
Yeah, he's giving it a big Scottish flick there, is Mr. McNally. Just looking back for him in this race, I'd say if he can keep it consistent. We look at 2 of the Northern Lights GT Omega cars against Alex Simpson there out of turn 1. Either side of him, he has the likes of, can you tell I'm scrolling down the order? Colin Cunniff then, race 2 winner. And always get a bit of contact with Colin there as well. That's Sven Glatzel there, as you said before about the German flag on the roof. It's just 2x2 all the way down the straight. It's almost as if they're doing like a formation starting GT series or something. Oh, and Sven has to get out of it there as Woodhouse comes across. There's contact between the Automat car. Multiple drifting cars there. Woodhouse gets a tap from Glatzel. They're 3 wide now, and oh, Simpson gets tagged by the number 19 car, Russell Laidler. Loads of drifty poos and contact, but they're all still on the track somehow. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, just about. Glatzel has got an absolutely awesome save. He's up 16 places, according to my system at least. 17 places actually. And he is ahead of Alex Simpson currently. Yeah, those two were fighting against each other in race 2 as well, if I recall correctly. Glatzel really got good pace today. Is Stevens having to, is he defending from Dan Brown there? Yes, he is. And he's on the outside. I think it's going to be that battle once again starting. And Brown just falling down the field ever so slightly. Stevens with a nice little start. And yeah, we'll try to be building onto that.
just to update as well, at the front, Brian Holmes has taken the lead and Ross McFarlane has overtaken Tristan Bodice, so they've switched round. Dave Baker is now up to 5th place as well. Him and Jake Blackwell seem to have just swapped places either side of Scott Malcolm. So it's all developing at the front, but Dave is making his way forward. We know he's really quick, we know he's really consistent, and to be fair, I think he could probably challenge for a podium, like I say. But Ross McFarlane's probably one to watch, because those two Apex boys will see him in their mirrors and be thinking, right, we need to work together and get on this now and try and run away, because Ross is very, very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be kind of suicide not to kind of think of a team game in some way. They've got to try to work together to at least get, maybe not the 1-2, but if they can possibly get a win out of this, that would be an awesome result. Tristan Bodice under pressure from Dave Baker. I think that's Baker. Is he going through there on the outside? Bodice tries to go through, just understeering ever so slightly, and that nearly made him make contact. Very generous there from Bodice, just to give a little bit of room, contact as well behind him. Baker should get that one done. Yeah, that was Blackhall there getting a bit of a hit. The car was on 2 wheels going across the track, and it just went straight on at Luffield. Not sure whether he was helped beforehand or whether he ran wide and hit someone, but he's back on. He seems to be doing okay now. He's joined on the track just ahead of his teammate Pete Newman, who's probably going to just take advantage and go down the inside. Backs out of it, but he's got to think about Stevens there, nearly making contact in turn 1. Not afraid of some close racing, these boys, as you can see. I mean, if this is your first time watching this series, then you've been given a good show so far, with most of tonight's final race left to go. As we look at Adam Hadfield running a bit wide, Stuart McFadden going for a bit of autograss there. That's what he's used to. He's previous Scottish autograss champion, and he's going back to his roots in the Kia. Yeah, nice move there from McFadden, just on the inside. Nearly got the pair of them. In the end, its momentum wasn't quite there. Although he might be able to make a move here. Wants to get his nose involved once again. Blake almost getting held up a little bit by the red car just ahead. And a bit of contact as well just ahead. And that's someone falling down the field. It's at the number 8 car, Jimmy Rushworth there. So having a bit of an issue. Very slow exit. And he's just losing positions. Yeah, you could see the cars in front of there, including Wojciech Savidovic. He was the one I noticed most that was really backing up there. And they nearly went into each other, but again, just a nice little sort of demonstration of the respect between these drivers, to be fair, where they all backed out of it. There was tiny bits of contact, but they're all still going. I mean, you can go to many other series across the iRacing form, and I don't know why I said form there, I meant to say platform, and that would have caused a huge incident, but, well, if you look there, 3 wide, McFadden gets on the brakes out of it, down the inside, number 11, flying through is Jake Blackwell, making his way back up after the incident. Again, really good respect from all these drivers, and they're just keeping each other in it, and it's brilliant stuff. Yeah, so we've also got an awesome battle going on for 2nd position right now. This is just erupting constantly. But yeah, for 2nd position, Nathan Davis actually coming back then against David Baker. So Baker got that one done, and now Davies has actually got back ahead. He is only interested in holding up the number 5 car for as long as he possibly can, and he's done a superb job. On that last lap, they were 1.2 seconds slower, was Davies. He's managed to hold up this pack. Unfortunately, he's going to have a few cars behind him from now to the end of the race, but he is doing Brian Holmes an awesome favour, and every corner he keeps Dave Baker behind is really going to help out Apex Racing UK. It seems like he's got quite a bit of damage on the right hand side there, the wheels both poking out from under the bodywork, so he's had a bit of contact somewhere. He's really leaving it late on the brakes. Dave just gives him a tap though, he's a little bit later than him. They've not made contact again though, which is good, although there you go, he's been tipped, he's going to come back across the field too. There's Bodice, how did they not make contact? And then avoided again. There's more contact with the GT Omega car and Scott Malcolm, and they're still all on track. This is fantastic stuff to watch. That was the number 15 car there getting involved with Ross McFarlane. Said earlier that he was going to be one to watch, and great accident avoidance there, just dabbed the brakes. Malcolm and Baxter got into contact, but, well, nothing more can be said about the fact that they're all still going. Great racing. Yeah, absolutely does. Some nice avoidance there from Tristan Bodice. In a situation like that, when you see the driver ahead going off the circuit, it can be very easy just to make a rash decision and kind of just go, not really be particularly aware of your surroundings, but that he was very alert. And he's up into the podium positions now as Tristan, so really good drive from him. And backs up 5 positions. He's the big gainer in that top 6. And he might well fancy his chances against McFarlane. This one is not over yet for these remaining podium positions.
Speaking of big gainers, we look once again at Ash Sutton, 8th place, 21 positions gained ahead of his teammate Michael Hull, who has gained 6. Further down the field, Diogo Melro has gained 12 places as well. He's up to 15th, so great drive as always from Diogo. David Baker now 2nd place then, after that little mix-up. He's going to be chasing down Brian Holmes as we look at Diogo Melro, who I've just mentioned, making really good progress. He's got a few CQR cars around him though. And then he's got some Immortal boys as well, so he's got a nice little mix of what I would probably say are quite famous teams on the iRacing service now, as that's number 46, Hadfield, going wide. A bit of avoiding action there, I believe. But yeah, these teams all really established names on the service now, and it's good to see that they've got such strong driver lineups consistently through the championships they compete in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure too much on the team's championship in this series, but of course I imagine it's quite a big deal. Oh, there's contact there, and Bodice is going to be off the circuit. He's not going to get that one stop whatsoever. He might even be in the wall. He's trying to keep up the pace as fast as he can. He's going to come on back on the circuit, and there's always going to be contact, wasn't there? There was contact anyway. He just drived in there and made it even worse.
Yeah, that was Baxter and McFarlane, I believe, got turned around there, so my pick for this race is out. It's a good thing I didn't put money on it, but you can never check anything out with this. You can never sort of decide early on. It seems like Baxter's having a bit of issues with the car staying straight there. You could see him sort of gradually figuring out what the steering's doing as he goes down the straight. Looks alright from the onboard view though, as we chase down car number 8, that's Jamie Rushworth, that we saw off earlier, so he's done alright to gain a few places back. He's looking down the inside of Wojciech Savidovic there in the Apex cars, another few CQR cars everywhere. They seem to be everywhere that you look in this race at the moment, the CQR cars. Obviously, a couple of different teams. They're all filing into single file ahead. Not quite sure what happened with Bodice though in that incident. So it'd be interesting to have a look back at that maybe. As here we go, fantastic timing from Samuli there, as if he could read my mind. So going down the straight then, and if I'm honest, it kind of looks like Tristan just comes across to the right, not knowing how close the other car was.
Yeah, they were both feisty, let's say that. I think Tristan came across initially, and then the other car came across and didn't exactly help the situation either. So I think that's probably a racing incident, perhaps. And yeah, you can see maybe Tristan just comes across, and it was mainly. I'll give that 80-20 to Tristan.
Yeah, I'd have even used the phrase that I tend to use way too many times on broadcast and say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because they both moved in, but I don't think the rejoin had anything to do with the contact between McFarlane and Baxter there, to be honest. That was already sort of happening before Tristan arrived on the scene. I just think he made the target area a little bit smaller, let's say, as we do see him in the pits, unfortunately, so it's a shame, but it's been good racing by Tristan, though, to keep it up there for as long as he did. It's just puts pay to the fact that one incident can ruin a race, I suppose. That's how it is in motorsport. It's a harsh environment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, these aren't particularly long races, so you know, a small mistake, and that's enough. But of course, yeah, he's back into the pits now, so yeah, that's all over for him. Adam Hadfield all around the outside. There's going to be a little bit of grass cutting as well. I just keep on getting this side by side. I think it's so difficult to call. He's going to come out of the corner first, because there isn't exactly an ideal line around half of these corners, and around the outside there goes Hadfield. He's trying to get that move done on Simmons. They're going to still be side by side. The inside line definitely is the best line here, because as long as you're just brave enough on the brakes, you can basically just dive down the inside and force the other driver off. And just going wide there was Hadfield, and Simmons will get that one done. And now even Kip Stevens gets involved as well.
Yeah, really strong proof there that you have to, even while you are battling, you have to worry about the guy behind no matter where you are on track here, because with it being such a short track, there are so many opportunities, because you just get lap after lap to just try and line things up again. Stevens actually did lose out again in that scenario, though. Hadfield has kept the place. I'm just looking down the timing screen now. I seem to have developed a stutter, actually. Just looking down the timing screen then, I noticed that Scott Malcolm is the highest placed AM car in the field, so good shout out for Scott in 5th place. The next placed AM car is actually Adam Hadfield, who we were just looking at, in 13th. So Scott driving a great race at the moment for the Automech team. It's Automech Knock Hill, sorry. Using the very famous MG livery there that Rory Butcher and Tom Boardman have been running this season. I know they've had a couple of other drivers as well. They seem to like changing drivers at the moment in the BTCC, but yeah, Rory Butcher's been doing a great job this season, it seems, so it's nice to see that. He's part of the iRacing community as well, so a fellow iRacer out there doing us all proud, and Scott's definitely doing his team proud tonight as well.
yeah, hopefully we'll get an interview with him after the race. We quite often do. And yeah, Scott's driving really well. Jamie Rushworth, I think, might be a little bit too fast for him. But of course, I commentated on Scott's first ever win in this series, around this circuit, actually. Not this exact circuit, it was the full layout, the Grand Prix layout. And yeah, let's say he was quite delighted after 200 odd races to finally get his first ever win. So surely got good memories of this circuit. And yeah, that number 1 at the moment by quite a long way over Adam Hadfield down in 12th position. That would be a very good result for him.
Yeah, he's been plucking away at it for a long time as Scott, and he's always improving. He's been one of them drivers where every time you see him, you just think, oh wow, he's doing better than the last time I saw him, and then he just keeps on improving and keeps on surprising everyone. As we look at Diogo Melro now putting Pete Harrod under pressure, I know that Pete probably won't be scared by that. Not a lot tends to phase the double Club Series champion. As Diogo just puts his nose down the inside, Pete giving him plenty of room there. Nice and respectful racing by them both. Both got slightly crumpled cars, but that can be expected, as you can imagine around here. Diogo squeezing him a little bit. Pete's going to give him plenty of room. There's a great train of cars behind them there. That's Christian Rose, not mentioned his name much tonight, with Stephen Baxter, George Simmons, Adam Hadfield, Kip Stevens, Michael Blake and Pete Newman. Is actually a little bit further back in that group, sorry. He's the beginning of the next conga line of cars. As side by side then, Melro and Harrod. Melro's just got the car in front though. Christian might be able to latch onto the back of these pair if they keep battling. They're both getting a bit of a wobble on. Christian hits that big bump on the inside. Depending on how aggressively you can hit that, actually, I reckon you could probably help the turning of the car with that. Do you reckon you could pull that off?
Oh yeah, I think so. And yeah, if you can kind of latch onto one of those curbs, it can be very beneficial. Just a lap car, I think, going slowly on the inside there. We've got side by side Rushworth versus Malcolm. Malcolm's not going to get involved in a collision. I think so. I had an awful commentator's curse one time with Scott. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, definitely.
On our Facebook page. Just the worst thing you've seen. It was absolutely horrendous. So I don't want to do the same to him. But I don't think Scott's going to get involved in collision. He's not actually. He's staying in there, to be fair. But just about lose that in the end to Rushworth. And Rushworth, probably won't catch up to Davies, unfortunately, but should still be a solid 5th place from 29th on the grid.
Yeah, definitely. Jamie's always been a very quick and very kind racer. As we look at the battle for the lead then, Brian Holmes and Dave Baker. Side by side as they go into the first of the Luffield section. Dave hanging it round the outside. Great stuff there, but it just doesn't look like he's going to carry the momentum that Brian does. There is a tiny overlap still. Brian brave enough to turn in. Gives him just enough room. They're going to be battling to see who can get the smoothest application of the throttle, and it looks like Brian has won the lottery in that one there. He's going to get a little bit of a run down the straight. Dave obviously going to be beneficial of the tow, or slipstream, or draft, however you want to name it. But Ash Sutton is in 3rd at the moment, just off in the distance there. 26 positions gained, and you've got to think that with his pace, I mean, I've not checked the pace as much, but to be fair, he was 4/10 quicker last lap round, as he was quite earlier in the race, 4/10 quicker than pretty much everyone ahead of him. He could actually still do this with 3 laps to go if the other guys are battling. Absolutely. On that last lap, he was 7/10 faster, so he's going to be there regardless of whether they're fighting or not. And you can see they are fighting, so they are going to cost each other a lot of time. Super defensive there from Holmes. It's difficult to go defensive there because it's such a wide track. And actually, I think this time it might be advantage Baker on the outside. Holmes tries to defend. Baker just putting his nose ahead. But will he get the slightly better run out of this final corner? Through Woodcut they go, side by side. This is really where they've got to be brave on the brakes, because I think that might just be the move which decides the race winner for this event. And moving through into the lead is Dave Baker. Holmes isn't going to give up, and he should get the slipstream, and actually he's going to have a nose in there as well. And I was talking earlier how advantage this position is. He's right deep on the brakes, and they're going to be side by side through this next back straight as well. That was absolutely beautifully judged by Brian Holmes there. Fantastic stuff. Very respectful from Dave on the brakes as well. But Dave has now got the inside line, but then to contradict that, Brian's going to have the outside line, which will then become the inside line to the last corner. So here we are again, the other way around. Deja vu, side by side. Still side by side. He's got a nice bit of overlap. Dave's got a bit of a wobble on the exit there. Brian's just washing out wide. these two are really showing how respectful you can be. But Brian's got a really good run off that final corner, no matter what line he takes, it seems. Dave's got the longer route round the outside, but he might carry more momentum. And once again, here we go. Who's going to be braver on the brakes this time, Sam?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Oh, they're going to make contact this time. Just one run out your opponent, really. And once again, is that Baker then with the ideal line? I'm not even sure. And yeah, side by side once again. Will they be a little bit too late on the brakes this time? There is contact this time. And Sutton is going to be so close to these two in a moment. They are dead level, and you can see Sutton right onto the rear of these guys. It's going to be a three-way fight as the number 5 car, David Baker, moves ahead. Holmes has to respond straight away. Remember, probably Baker's the faster driver out of these two, and now Sutton's right onto the rear.
Yeah, Brian's going to be feeling the pressure at this point as Ash just gets his nose down the inside. He doesn't want to ruin Brian's race at this point by making contact. One more lap to go then, and we've got these three fighting for the podium. It'd be great to see all three of them finish this, but with how close they've been racing, you've got to wonder whether they will. Dave Baker then in the lead ahead of Brian Holmes, Ash Sutton, who's gained 26 positions in this race. Fantastic stuff already from Ash this evening. Brian's a little bit wide there though. Ash is probably going to get the inside for turn 2. We'll have to see how he can manage the run out of there. Do you reckon the slipstream will have that much of an effect in the last lap?
Well, it should drag Sutton ever so slightly closer, which is going to be absolutely crucial. Of course, no team orders between the CQR guys. There's no doubts about that. But right now, I think Baker's just about got the advantage. Sutton may well be content with second position from this one as we enter the final couple of corners in this race 3 of the evening.
I'm literally clenching my fists and my teeth looking at this. Ash Sutton makes it stick round the outside then. Brilliant work. Brian might try and get a cut back here, but I don't think he's got it. He's too close to the back. Dave Baker plants the right foot, spins the fronts up, and out of the final corner, Dave Baker takes a fantastic win. And the third and final race of the evening, Ash Sutton takes second, and the brilliant Brian Holmes, you've got to give it to him. What a result for him. And Nathan Davis makes it 2 CQR cars, then 2 Apex cars to finish the top 4. Jamie Rushworth coming home in 5th. And Diogo Melro, great drive from him, gaining 21 places. And Sven Glatzel, who we also mentioned before, gaining 22. There's Scott Malcolm, highest placed AM driver in the race this evening. 7th place is a fantastic result for the Automech Knock Hill driver.
Yeah, top of the AM Championship drivers. So that's a nice effort from Scott. Held on well at the end there. Lost out to Diogo, it seems, but I think held on against Pete Howard. So that was a good effort there. And of course, yeah, Adam Hadfield second in the AM drivers, up 12 places from his start. So a nice result for him. With George Simmons rounding out the top 10. That was a good drive. And yeah, Christian Rose. We really haven't seen too much of the CQR Academy driver, but yeah, very unstated and yeah, very nice result in that race too.
Yeah, he did one of his sort of typical drives where he's just there or thereabouts. He's always quite composed, this Christian. He's always quick, and he's just sort of wormed his way up through the field, and yeah, he's stuck it in the top 10, which is it's always going to be a result that puts a smile on your face in this series because it is so competitive that if I was racing in it, if it began with a 1, then I'd be happy. So I'm sure that he'll have the same sort of view on it because it's them consistent championship points that you need, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just a word, of course, for the top 2, Dave Baker and Ashley Sutton. Like Sutton going from 29th to say, you just never know where he's going to finish, do you? Because you can't possibly say, oh, he might get a top 5 out of this because you can never count him out. And he came so close, maybe 1 lap away from victory there, but it was an awesome drive from Dave Baker.
Yeah, definitely. Dave's always got it controlled in a race. He's not too aggressive as well. He's not sort of what I'd call a rude racer. He's not someone that would just chuck it down the inside. He'll identify his opportunities really well, and he can defend for his life. He's one of the greatest defending racers I've ever come across on iRacing. He can really make a car as wide as you want it to be, and yeah, it's proven to come good tonight for him that he's grabbed the win in race 3. And speaking of, I think we may have the results in just a moment.
Yes, and yeah, Dave Baker takes home the race victory with Ashley Sutton, his teammate, in 2nd place. Brian Holmes, he held on for so long, didn't he, from the front row of the grid, but he ends up in 3rd, so a good result, less than a second off the lead. Nathan Davies finishes in 4th, Jimmy Rushworth in 5th. There was Diogo Melro in 6th. Scott Malcolm was the top of the AM drivers, and Pete Howard Christian Rose and George Simmons rounding out the top 10. Behind that it was Adam Hadfield, there's Stephen Baxter, Kip Stevens, Sven Glatzel, Michael Blake, Nicole Foggy, Chris Wood, Pete Newman, Adam McNally, Mark Johnston, Colin Cunniff in 21st, there's Maciek Sakovic, Max Ray, Daniel Brown, Mark Woodhouse, Alex Simpson in 26th place, Carl Yakolet, Ross McFarlane, Morgan Butler, Stuart McFadden, Wojciech Suridovic in 31st, William Daniels, Tristan Bollis, Jake Blackhall, Michael Hall, Lee Deemer, and Rusty Lader, rounding out the 37 car field.
Brilliant stuff. Fantastic list of names there. As you go through it, it's just a great field to have a look at. Just trying to have a quick look now and see whether we do have anyone sticking around for an interview. And for probably the first time ever, there isn't. I genuinely, there's no one there. Feeling a bit lonely up here, to be fair. Having a look on the YouTube chat currently as well, just to see on the stream what's going on. There's obviously different views on certain manoeuvres and things that have gone on tonight, but that's always to be expected. Although we do have a very interesting person popped into the interview waiting area, and we will bring him into the booth. It's Mr. Dave Baker, winner of race 3. Hi Dave, how you doing?
Not too bad. All the better for race 3.
Yeah, definitely. We can understand with that one. You drove a beautiful race. We were just saying how you're good at defending, and you've always said that you're not really one that prefers attacking, but you got the elbows out and you got on with it, and you ended up winning it. So I imagine you're pleased with it.
Yeah, very much so. Say race 1 didn't quite go to plan. There's been a lot of phantom net codes kind of happening to people throughout the grid tonight. So
yeah,
that sort of put us back on the back foot sort of early on in the meeting. So yeah, hopefully I was fair with Brian when I was catching him and stuff like that. I don't know, I'll have to look at it back, but he put up a hell of a defence. I mean, what was it, 2 or 3 laps I think towards the end, side by side. Yeah, that's what we do it for, and this track just makes it all the more worthwhile. Yeah,
we were saying it was a hell of a drive by Brian, and the respect between the two of you when you were racing was just second to none. It was a beautiful display of what we all do this for, like you say. It was really enjoyable to watch, and we have also been saying that this track is an absolute gem for it tonight. I mean, is it a track that you enjoy driving? Is it one of your favourites on the list?
In terms of layouts, this is one of my favourites, particularly in this car for the type of racing it gives. I think like in one of the previous seasons, you had the whole grid covered by less than a second, and that's, upwards of 45 cars at times. So yeah, it does provide really cracking racing, 4 or 5 wide with generally no incidents. You're always going to get some, but generally everybody does keep it clean here, which just makes for racing you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, we were saying that the action and the amount of overtaking, and obviously, like I was just saying then, the respect between the drivers is just it's unmatched when you get around here. I'd say probably the main contribution to the incidents is the fact that there's so many differing lines around all the longer corners. Would you agree?
Yeah, particularly kind of coming through the last sort of section. There's a couple of different braking points, a couple of different lines through through those corners, sort of back out onto the start-finish straight. And it can look like the door's open, but really it's not. And of course, people stick their noses in, and cars get a little bit of a quarter panel and stuff like that. But as you say, generally it's kept clean. I mean, we have 100 odd races in the season, so we all know each other pretty well, and so hopefully there's a good amount of respect for people here, because you don't do 100 races without kind of having some of that, really.
Yeah,
it's chaos otherwise.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. We've seen a lot of it tonight. There were a lot of good respect, and to be honest, I mean, it's just been mental all up and down the field as it usually is. I've not been closely following this season, I'll admit. So I mean, how are you feeling towards heading towards that good old famous showdown? Are you feeling confident?
A little bit better since I've got that win. I started off the season with kind of like 4 or 5 wins or something like on the bounce, and then I haven't had almost a single podium for God knows how many months. So to come away with sort of some points for the showdown tonight was a really good feeling.
Great
and to
stuff.
be battling Wodge in race 1 on pure pace, you're doing well when that happens.
Yeah. To be fair, Wodge is a legend in the Kia sort of community, isn't he? Really. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see you back up there, mate. And obviously, it's understandable now that you'll have the confidence to go through it. It's good to see you getting the win. So before we go though, have you got anyone to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to all the boys in CQR for working together and making the team the success it is. Everybody that takes part in this series, and for you guys obviously stepping in tonight to help out whilst your Apex colleagues are engaged at the Sim Expo. I'm guessing they've been racing on rigs out there and stuff like that. I saw Alex earlier, so interesting to see how that went for him. So yeah, just thanks all round, really.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks very much, Dave. We'll speak to you again soon, mate.
Yeah, catch you soon, buddy.
Dave Baker there, always the respectful gentleman, great to talk to, and fantastic racer. There's no one else actually waiting around for an interview, to be fair, so it's pretty much key time to call it a night, to be fair. But how do you reckon tonight went then, Sam? Are you happy with what we saw and how we've gotten on?
Oh yes, absolutely. Of course, a bit disappointing not to see race 1, of course. I'm sure that was also fantastic. But yeah, races 2 and 3, we just didn't know where to look, did we? It was just action throughout. But some really good drives as well, and it wasn't just, you know, chaos or whatever, and lots of crashes and whatnot. It was fantastic racecraft today, and yeah, a lot of fantastic drives, particularly near the front of the field, so evenly matched. So to keep up your concentration, even for just 21 laps around this circuit, like it's not exactly a long race, but the intensity that these drives were racing at was absolutely superb. So yeah, hopefully, of course, our colleagues won't be able to turn up for a few more of these events, and we might be able to fill in some other time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I will just also, just quickly bring Stuart McFadden in. Stu, we just noticed you popped up in the interview area. Just thought I'd give you a quick chat. How have you felt tonight went?
Yeah, tonight's been good. Apart from the last race, unfortunately I got a little DQ, but going fault. But well, the 4X at the end was my own fault, sorry. But the following couple of 4Xs, everyone was kind of struggling with it tonight, especially in the chat as well. We were all kind of saying that as soon as we got within maybe half a car length of a car, then the netcode would just hit the other car, and then it give us a 4X, and there's nothing you can do. It's not in our hands. It's in the servers and somewhere. So yeah, that was really, really frustrating, to be honest. That kind of put us on hold. Well, not on hold, but it kind of made us kind of conscious tonight. Because we didn't want to pick up 4Xs, and then obviously it affects the team in Drivers' Championship when we've got a couple of guys in our team going for it, so we were kind of cautious. Yeah,
we saw on a couple of occasions that there were cars getting within, say, a few feet of each other and just spinning one another. So it's a shame that obviously that does affect these things, because it's nice to see the close racing that we get, and I mean that's what this series thrives on. But going forward, though, I mean, are you? I mean, I've admitted it to Dave as well. I've not been following the championship too closely, but are you sort of with a shout at the showdown? Are you feeling confident towards the season end?
I mean, I'm not in towards the showdown. I've had to miss a couple of quite a few meetings during like kind of like March, May time due to my exams and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
unfortunate, but I'm not. I mean, next season will be a little bit easier for me. Because of I think I only have 2 exams or something like that, and they're not actually on Thursdays, so it makes it easier for me for going. I mean, next season I said this last season, but I mean next season I'm definitely going to get go for the showdown. I'm going to try and up over the winter, save up and upgrade my equipment from this little G29 is a nice way of saying it to full-blown Fanatec stuff. So.
Great stuff. Well, it's been good to sort of follow your journey and watch you develop as a driver, and I mean, since the time I've known you and watched you racing, you've really improved a lot. So it's nice it's not a problem, mate. It's nice to see the CQR boys obviously noticing your talent, picking you up, and it's good to see you progress through the series. So hopefully, with well, obviously real life comes in the way sometimes, but that's just how it is, isn't it, with motorsport?
Yeah.
Even in real life, they have the same issues, but obviously, if it can continue for you for next season, then we wish you all the best, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate the kind words.
No worries. Is there anyone you're going to want to give a quick shout out to before we go?
My team for being, just helping me out. I only had like an hour of practice tonight after jumping on because I've been really, really busy with homework. So obviously in the session, boom, the setup's already in my steer box. I just jump in and just drive it. Then because there's so many of us around the same pace, and everyone if somebody's struggling at a corner, you can look at someone else that's doing it right, because there's so many of us. So there's always somebody to ask. There's always somebody to help if I'm struggling or something like that. So yeah, thanks to them.
Great stuff. Good times. Well, good to speak to you again, Stu, and we will hopefully speak to you another time.
Yeah, hopefully soon. See you later, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Good.
Stuart McFadden there, one of the fastest young drivers you will ever come across. I believe he won the Scottish National Autograss Championship at the age of 15. It's just unbelievable sort of thing, isn't it, really, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really depressing now, actually, because there's actually, famous drivers and whatnot who are younger than me. I'm 17, and I'm getting to the age now where there's, sports people in all kinds of areas who are like at a world-class level, and I'm here. So yeah, it's a bit depressing that, but full credit to Stuart McFadden. Yeah, very talented driver, certainly.
Great stuff. Well, don't even get me started on age, mate. I'm 26 on Wednesday, but anyway, we'll leave that for another time. It's been absolutely a massive pleasure to broadcast this, guys, for you tonight. Samula Kumo's done a great job on the cameras as always, and obviously commentating the majority of race one when we weren't around. Sam, it's been great to work with you for the first time as well. I feel like we've done a good partnership, and thank you to everyone for watching as well, and for these guys for putting on such a good show. So until next time, we will catch you back on Apex Racing TV.